Now, what else can we do with the select query other than selecting those column names? Can I change the name of this column if I don't like how it appears? So I see it as title here. Can I change it to something? The answer is yes. You can use the keyword as, and then in quotations, you specify the title. So I'll say my special title. And this is going to be the label of that column. So you can change the label of the column for whatever label that you would like. Now this is called column aliasing, and it's going to be very useful in many cases, as we will see later on. Now this as keyword is totally optional. It makes things more readable. You can just do it like this. It's going to work just fine. But I would like to use it because it makes things more readable. Now you can enclose in double quotes, single quotes. SQL is so flexible in that regard. So if I do this and then run it, it is going to work. Although my computer says it's an error, it's not actually an error. It's because I have an older version, but it still works in here. So as long as it still works in here, then this is not a problem. I always like to put it in single quotes. I think on a Windows configuration, it's not going to even highlight it, but it's going to work on both. Now, you can retain the case of your label by using it in quotations. And if it contains spaces, the spaces are going to be there as we have seen. Now we will see in a moment why is it useful, but first let's talk about arithmetic operations. So arithmetic operations in MySQL are going to be executed left to right. Multiplication and division are going to be solved first. Addition and subtraction are going to be solved last. But you can always override that order with parentheses. So in this example or in this table, how can we incorporate any sort of arithmetic operations? Remember the easiest way to get your list of columns? Describe books. So let me see what do I have in here. So if I look at the columns, I have something that's called cost and something that's called retail. So for each book, I have cost and retail. So the cost is how much the book is costing me. The retail is how much I'm selling it for. And then you have discount as well. So let's try doing a simple operation on the books. So if I'm talking about profit, now one useful thing is to use a hashtag, and this is going to be a comment that is not going to be executed. So if you want to comment your code, you can use hashtags to comment this. So the profit is equal to the retail minus the cost. So how much am I selling the book for, and how much is it costing me? Now let's not care about discount. Let's not make this thing complicated. Okay? Now I can do something like this. Select title, and let me just comment this. You can't have multiple queries, but you need to have semicolons. So you either have to comment this or you have to just put a semicolon. But I wanted to comment it because I don't need it anymore. So I need the title, and I also need retail minus cost from books. Now in some configurations the column names are going to be case sensitive. In my configuration I didn't make it case sensitive. If you follow the default configuration when you install MySQL Workbench, then most probably it's not going to be case sensitive. Now if I run this, it is going to tell me the title of the book is this and the retail minus cost is this. But what is retail minus cost? Isn't it profit? So I can say, okay, show me this as profit. And here is where column aliasing is useful. So this is the book and this is the profit out of that book. Now you can also incorporate discount. So the discount is going to be how much discount do you have in that book. I'll show you a trick to run a query without commenting the other one. So select and then discount from books. You can just highlight this. So remember, this is going to run the highlighted portion or selected portion. You can on this. So I have some of them having no discount and some of them having some discount. So I can alter this by saying I want to apply the discount first to see my profit. But then I need to override this because I need to do this first and then do the rest. Because remember, if we do the minus sign is not cumulative. So if I do something like 8 minus 4 minus 2, how much is this? So some people might argue and say, okay, this is 8 minus 4, which is going to be equal to 4, and then we'll take 2 out, so this is going to be equal to 2. Some people would say, no, this is 8 minus whatever we get from doing 4 minus 2. So it's going to be eventually 8 minus 2, which is going to be 6. So I need to have some kind of order of operation in here. So I'll do select retail, and then this is going to be minus discount, and all of this is going to be taken out of the cost. Now I change the order of execution based on my query. So retail minus discount. Let me just see. So this is how you have an error in your query. Yep, I just had to put that space in here because it had it with the parenthesis. Now it's working. So I know it seems problematic here because I have null and I should have discounts as zeros, but this is just an example to show you how you can override the order of operation. This is not the best example, but this is the example that came to my mind to show you how to do it. Now again, this is showing nulls in here in the profit because I didn't have zeros, I had them as nulls. But we'll see later on how to deal with that case. Right now, I just wanted to show you how to do the order of operation, and I think we can do this. Select 6 plus 2, this, or 6 plus 3, this might work as well. Yep, so this may work. And let's just do the example that we did. 8 minus 4 minus 2. This is not selecting from any table. It can do some kind of operations for you. Now this is 2. Now if I do this, this is 2, but if because this is the default right now, and if I come here and say do this portion first, now this is 6. Now this is an example again that shows you how to override the order. Now this is with the minus sign. Obviously it can work with any other operations or arithmetic operators. Now I wanted to show you something that's not about arithmetic operators, which is the following. So let me just go and select everything from my customers table. So my customers table is called customers. So select star from customers. Sometimes if you do this and wait, it's going to suggest the tables that match the first letters you wrote. Now I have those states in here, so let me show you something. Select state from customers. Now I have California, Florida, Idaho, and Washington, New York, Texas, Wyoming, California again, Georgia, Illinois, Massachusetts, Florida again, Wyoming again, Florida again, California again, Michigan, Georgia, New Jersey, New Jersey. And then I have some duplications, and this is what we call duplicate rows. Now we can get rid of those by using a keyword that's called distinct. Remember when we looked at the syntax of a select statement, it has all or distinct. So we can say distinct in here and run it back again. This is going to take out any duplications in my data. Again, why is this useful? If I want to get the count of the number of states that I have, I need to count the distinct number, as we will see later on when we talk about the operations that we can do on the rows of data. So this is the distinct keyword. It's going to get rid of duplications. So the duplication is going to happen on the complete row level. So if I have 2 rows with Florida in them, it's not going to get one of them out as long as they are not the exact same rows. So it's going to work. If they are the exact same thing, it's going to take one out, or just leave one of them and take the rest out. Now finally, I want to show you what we call concatenation. And if I go back and select everything from that table, select star from customers. Now I have first name and last name. So if I want to display the first name and last name and address for that customer, so let me just start to do this. So select first name. Oops, I needed to do an enter. First name, comma, last name. So if you just type the first 3 letters, it's going to suggest the rest for you if you have the table name in there. And then I wouldn't include anything. I'll just say state. So select first name, last name from customers and the state with them. So I have first name, last name, state. Now if I want it to be first name and last name in the same column, so I want to have the first name and last name as 1 entry. I don't want to have them as 2 entries. We have what we call a concatenation method, and this is achieved by using concat. And then in that concat, we will just list the columns that we want within parentheses and then separate them by commas. Now see what's gonna happen when I run this. It's gonna concatenate them, but something funny is gonna happen. Can you read the names? The problem is it takes the 2 strings and attaches them together without even doing anything in between. So there is no space, so it's gonna attach them without any space. How to solve this? Remember when we did some arithmetic operations on numbers right away? So it's gonna work with numbers. Will it work with characters? Let's see. So I want to have a space in here. So it's going to be quotations. And then let me just have a space. And let me run this. Now I have a space. Now if I want to concatenate them in the following order. Last name, comma, first name. Again, that's going to be easy. What I need to do is I include the last name first, and then I will have the first name here, and then in here I'll just add a comma. So this is going to give me last name and then comma first name. Now again, see the column name in here? It's going to be very useful if I say as something like full name. And if I run this, this is going to be concatenation used with column aliasing at the same time. So a quick recap on what we covered on this video. We covered the basics of a select statement, how to select one column, multiple columns, how to do column aliasing, how to do some arithmetic operations, the order of operations on those arithmetic operations as well. And then we talked about removing duplications using the distinct keyword in the select clause. And then finally, we talked about concatenation, which is using concat function in the select clause as well.